Hi, welcome to Pinky Hooks. I'll be your host, Shania Lancaster, and today I'll be showing you how to do that cute, super duper cute baby blanket done in the rice stitch. Hello everybody, thank you for tuning in to my channel. I really appreciate everybody that is watching this right now, whether you knit or crochet. Or if you don't, thank you. Thank you for tuning in. So, again, this is my blanket done for a friend of mine whose friend is about to have a baby. So this is for a newborn. This is called the Rice Stitch Baby Blanket. I use Caron Latte Cakes. That is a bulky 5. And basically since this is for newborn, I decided to do it on a smaller scale. This blanket measures about 41 inches in width and 24 and a half in length. Now, I'm working in an extremely small space, so you can't really see the full size, so I'm gonna keep trying to fold it over a little bit so you can see the edging that's done on here. I edged this with a bobble to give it some kind of definition on the very edges, as you can see that, and you'll see it better with the lighter since this is a self-striping yarn. You see the little bobbles? Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Super duper pretty. So again, this project took me personally about almost 4 weekends. That would not take that much time if you do not work the long hours that I do work. And I do tend to work a little bit slower because I have slight arthritis in my hands, but nevertheless, the job got done. Nobody cares how long it took as long as it gets done, right? Right. So I did use Caron Latte Cakes, okay? And this cakes, there's about, well, there's not about, but there is exactly 530 yards, okay? This is an acrylic and nylon type yarn. It's a bulky 5, okay? And as you can see, it has a lot of little fur fuzz. Now, don't be fooled by this yarn. This yarn, when I first saw it, and I saw another YouTuber did a review on it, I was like, ooh, I don't like wool. It's not wool. It just gives the appearance of wool. And then I started thinking, ooh, itchy. And it is nothing like that. It is super duper soft, okay? I don't know. It's like a bearskin rug that you could lay a baby on. Remember back in the day, babies used to take pictures, you know, with their little bottoms out, and they would be on some kind of bearskin rug. I don't know why people think bearskin rugs are like pretty cool to lay on. In my mind, I don't think that the fur of a bear will be soft. I don't know. I could be wrong, but nevertheless, we're not using bear fur. We're using yarn. Okay, so in this video, I am going to show you how to do the amazing rice stitch. I picked this stitch because with the latte cakes, because it is a furry yarn, you don't want to do anything, a stitch that has a lot of intricate details because you're not going to really see it. Okay, you see it here work up very nicely because of the colors. You know, they're fading in, and so you can kind of start to see that rice stitch is adding texture. It's adding beautiful texture. Okay, it's not so much an intricate detailed stitch, it's just adding texture. So when you have a yarn like this, you're trying to keep it as simple as possible, you know, but something that is going to make the yarn pop. Okay, and I'm going to show you how to do that today. So let's go over our things that we will need. We will need a size K hook. You will need a pair of scissors. And you will also need a needle to sew in or hide your tails, okay? Again, you will need a size 5, or it can be done in a 4. yarn. You do not have to use these the Caron Latte Cakes. I just happen to use it because it makes a wonderful blanket because it's so soft. So let's get started. Since we're doing the right stitch, understand that the right stitch is done in an odd number of stitches. It does not matter how long or it doesn't matter how many stitches that you use, as long as it's an odd number, okay? This is a 1 row repeat. So we're going to start off by doing our knot, or some people like to do the magic ring. I personally just basically tie a knot just like that. Okay, and for the sake of this tutorial and keeping it short, I am only going to do a small version of that blanket that you saw in the beginning. So I will be crocheting with 15 stitches. I will be starting my chain with 15 stitches. Okay, so I'm going to chain up 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Okay, once you have your chain to your desired length, remember, it's up to you how wide you want your blanket to be. Again, I am only going to do a small swatch of this tutorial to get you started. Once you have the odd number, you are going to skip over 2, just 2. So 1, 2, and you are going to do a double crochet into the 3rd stitch. Okay, so that's yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through another 2. There's your first double crochet. Now this little guy right here, that right there, it doesn't count for anything. It's not a half double crochet. Well, actually it's going to count for a half double, and you will see when we come back around, but this is going to be your first stitch, that first double crochet. And what I would like for you to do is to continue to the end of your chain, putting in double crochets for the rest of the chain length, just like this. Every single stitch. With the Caron Latte Cake, yes, when you're first starting out, it seems to be a little hard sometimes to find the stitches because of all that fuzz. But if you stretch, you will see your stitches. Focus, focus, there we go. All right, so again, we're going to do this for the rest of the chain, and when we come to the end, I will begin to do the 1 row repeat and show you how to follow through. So I'll meet you back when we're done at the end of the chain, when we get to the end of the chain. Okay, so I'm at the end. Okay, you should have still an odd number of stitches. I started off with 15 and I now have 13. Okay, what you want to do is chain 1 and turn your work. Now this begins the 1 row repeat of the right stitch. We're going to do a half double crochet into that very first stitch. Okay, right there, the little O right there at the top. Okay, so that's yarn over, insert, pull up a loop, and you should have 3, and you're going to yarn over and pull through all 3. That's a half double. And now begins the actual stitch. We are going to work the front and the back post. Okay, now if you are familiar with this, the front and the back post, then you already know how to fly in and out. But for those of you who are watching this and you're not quite sure what the front post and the back post, these lines, I'm gonna pull this apart. Those, you see those posts? Those are a post, and you're gonna go in and out, in and out, in and out. And what we mean by a front post, we're going to do a half, not a half, but a full double crochet, but you're just going to work around the post. So we're going to do a front post. So you yarn over, and you're going to go in between that first one and come under. Yarn over, and continue to do your double crochet. You see how, like, I'm gonna turn it from like long ways, right? But you see how it's like a little hump. I know it's a little difficult in the beginning because, especially if you're working with the Caron Latte Cakes, because it has all this fur. So now we're gonna do the back post. Yarn over. Remember, you are doing a double crochet. And now we're gonna go in the back. There you go. Behind the post. Pull up a loop. Okay. Again, we are alternating. So you did a front, you did a back. We're going to do another front. Yarn over. Okay, we finish that out. And now we're going to yarn over and go in the back, like you're going through someone's back door. You see that? Look at that. Now, it may seem a little difficult in the very beginning. You might move slow, especially when you're first starting the first row of this. It's a little crazy looking. You're like, oh, I don't like how this is looking. There's something wrong. No, there's nothing wrong. Just stick with it. Okay, again, back post. Front post. Okay, pull your work apart if you have to. It's fiber. There's nothing's going to break. People are scared to pull it apart, but it's fine. Back post. You see how we go around? And then pull that up. Oops. We're still in the back post. Go around. There we go. And that's what I'm saying. It gets tricky when you're first starting the first row, but after that, and once you get used to it, you'll start flying. So we're going to do this to the very end, and then I'm going to show you what to do when we get to the end. Okay, so we're at the end, okay? Now, pull that out, because what happens is this little guy right here, which is a post, he likes to hide. He hides on the end, but you have to pull him apart from the end. And you see that? Okay, there he is right there. Okay, so this one should be a back post, and you're going to need to hold that in, that stitch that I told you doesn't count for anything. Hold him and then go through. Focus. Here we go. Okay, and now you got that little, the nobody. I'm sorry, stitch, but you're a little nobody. Okay, and this is where you are going to do exactly what you did when you started this, a half double crochet. And just for the sake of this first row, don't even try to put it in here. You can, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to do my half double crochet in that space right through, just like that. Half double. Okay, so you're going to chain 1, and you're going to turn. We are going to start this all over again by putting a half double crochet in that first stitch. Okay, pull your work apart right there. Okay, and now begin again. The only difference that you're going to do, you are still doing front and back posts, but you are going to alternate. So here, if it's on top, that's the front post. You see how this one is sunken? That's the back post. Top, back, top, back. You're going to do the opposite to get that texture. So you have a front post, but you're going to start off with a back post. Double crochet. Okay, this guy's back there, you're going to do a front post. Double crochet. This guy is in the front, go around the back. So think of it this way, okay? If you see someone in the front, let me pull out some more yarn. You see someone in the front, go around the back. You see someone in the back, go around the front. Yeah, I sound like a criminal, but anyway, nevertheless, that's what you're doing. That's how I like to look at it. So when I start picking up speed, I'm like, oh, okay. I'm not even thinking about it. Like, I'm like, oh, he's in the back, I'm going in the front. You're in the front, I'm going in the back. And now, the bigger it gets, the quicker you'll go. Okay? Again, when you're working with this kind of yarn, don't be scared to pull your stitches, pull your work so that you can see. And it may not look like much in the beginning, but what I'm going to do is do a couple more rows on my swatch, and then I'm going to meet you back. So this is a 1 row repeat. And so you're going to go ahead and work this, and then when we get to the end, when I work up a couple more rows, I'm going to come back and show you how to do the bobble stitch around for the border. You don't have to put a border on, but it defines the blanket, okay? So I'll meet you back here and I'll show you how to do that border. Okay, so here's my little swatch, my little example, okay? Now, even though this is a solid color, right, you can see, look, the little bumps in and out, in and out, in and out of the right stitch, okay? And it will show better to me whether you're using the fuzz with the Caron Latte Cakes or you are using some other kind of yarn, maybe a variegated yarn, like a variegated yarn, and like it shows up beautifully, okay? Because of all those colors changing. And so when you start getting those little pop-ups, you know, like a little rice field or something, I guess, it's like an explosion of colors, you know, there's a lot going on. So once you are done your blanket, if you want to put the edging on of the bobbles, feel free. I'm going to show you how to do that now. And if not, and you're like, you know what, especially if you're using the Caron Latte Cakes, most of the times when I do a blanket, I do not edge it, you know, but because this was a baby blanket, I just wanted to do a little something, you know, so I decided to do a bobble stitch. And that's what I'm going to show you how to do. So when you come to the corner, all we're going to do is chain up 1, okay? And right now, working the sides is the hardest part. So the sides, because the stitches are not as defined as, you see, like those on top, those are easy, right? The ones on top and the bottom, you see, you can see those stitches. When you look on the side, you're like, oh no, what's going on? So we have to use our best judgment. So we chained up 1. And what we're going to do is yarn over, and I'm just going to go in between that last stitch, post and the last stitch. Yarn over, go inside, pull up a loop, right? Okay, you have 3 on your hook. You're only going to pull through 2, only 2. So do it slow and you should have 2. You're going to repeat that. Yarn over, go back in, pull up a loop, right? And you will pull through 2. And now you should have 3. Yarn over again. Go back in that same stitch. Pull up a loop. Only pull through 2. And now you have 4. Once you have 4, because I'm doing a mini bobble, so most people will do it one more time to get 5. You can do it however many times. I've seen it where it's done with 6 left on there, but for the sake of this tutorial and the baby blanket, I'm only going to do when I get, which was a total of 3 times, so that would give me 4. Now yarn over, and you're going to pull through all 4. And then right next to it in the next stitch, okay, if you can see that, you see this little hole right here, look, my nail's trying to peek through there. We are going to do a slip stitch. So you're just going to go right in, pull up a loop and pull it through. That's it. What that does, and tighten it, because when you flip over your work, right, it doesn't look like much now, but there's a little bobble, a little bobblehead peeking out like hello. Okay, we're going to do it again. We're going to create another bobble. You will have to pull your work apart. So you're going to try to work like in this right here, okay? Again, we're working on the side, so it's very hard to do this, like, because it's not a clear cut. Do your best. Okay, you pull up 1 loop, yarn over, go through 2. So that's the first. The second attempt, yarn over, pull through 2. Now you got 3. Yarn over, pull up a loop, go through 2. And now you have 4. Go through all 4. The next stitch, find that stitch on the side, do a slip stitch. That slip stitch, sorry about that, secures it. And when you pull it, it does like a little protrusion. So I want you to repeat that until we get to the end, and I'm going to show you what to do when we get to the end. Okay. So here we are at the end, okay? We're going to do 2 bobbles in that corner stitch, okay? Now I have a gaping hole because when I started this swatch, right, I actually missed the stitch somehow, but again, this is just a swatch, okay? So you are in the corner space. You will do a bobble because your last one should have been like a slip stitch, and maybe not, depending on how long your blanket is, but for me, I have a slip stitch. So now I'm going to go ahead and do 1 bobble, all right, pull through 4, and I'm going to put another bobble because we're on a corner and we want to get like a defined corner. So we're going to chain 1 after that first bobble, and then you're going to go back into that space and do another one, that same space. Pull through 4. Okay, so if we turn this over now, and I'm so sorry about that, once we continue to get that corner, when we complete it all the way around, you'll see what I'm talking about. It'll have more of a defined end. So again, follow all the way around when you get to the corner, okay? The swatch is crazy. But when you get to the corner, we're going to put 2. So you put 1 bobble, chain 1, put another bobble in that same one. Go along, get to that corner, 1 bobble, chain 1, do another bobble, and then do your final row up top. And then I'll show you how to connect so that we can go ahead and cut our wool and then tie in our ends. Okay. And now we are at the end where I did a slip stitch, okay? So we're going to there was only one bobble stitch that we actually did when we first started this. So now you're connecting. You are going to go into that corner with that first bobble stitch and put another bobble stitch. Okay. Pull through all four, and what we are going to do is now slip stitch into the top of the first bobble. Pull up a yarn, and it is time to cut the wool. Okay. So when I flip my little thing over, I'm like, yay, look at the little mini blanket. It's like a little Barbie. It's a little crooked because it's just a swatch. But you see how the stitches are, and look at that. They're little bobbles. Bobble, bobble, bobble. All over the place, right? Look at that. Okay. And so there you have it. It is fairly easy to do this stitch. Okay, again, sorry for my little crooked swatch, but you did see the blanket, and you can rewind this video so if you need to see how beautiful it was or it turned out to be. Okay, and again, this is a simple stitch. It is a 1-row repeat. It can be done with either the Caron Latte Cakes, and if fuzz isn't your thing, I get it. Use another 5, bulky 5, well, not a bulky 5, but just a 5, or use a 4. I am pretty sure that this will work very well with a 4, and especially a variegated. I love variegateds and self-striping yarns because I like watching the colors evolve as I am crocheting. Okay, so again, you want to, again, I'm just doing this on a little swatch. Now, you will have to tuck in your own ends. It's going to be funny to try to watch me do it with this little swatch, but I'm gonna try with the needle. Okay. You just want to pretty much just go along the sides, you know, and you can go in the bobbles. Isn't that cool? Pull that through. Look at that. And some people would loop back around, but again, this is a swatch. Cut that off. Yay, voila, look at that little swatch. But, you know, and look, here's a little person. No, look, here's a little person with the, look, yay, ooh, it's so cozy and warm. And my little blanket. Okay, anyway, so I hope you enjoyed my tutorial. If you like what you saw today and you would really like to see what other creations I have, please click on that subscribe button below and become a subscriber to my channel and grow with me, because I am so excited, because I already have tons of ideas that I can show and share with you, and we can grow together. So again, thank you for tuning in. Until next time, take care. God bless.